Hey there! Today, I want to share something with you. A really simple and gentle way to build healthy habits into your life. The best part? There's no stress, no big intimidating goals, just small, smart steps that can lead to some pretty amazing results. So let's dive in.
Okay, so right off the bat, how about that for a confession? From a personal trainer, no less. I think it's so refreshing to hear because it's just so relatable. It's a great reminder that even for the experts, it's not always easy, which really sets the stage for looking at things a little differently.
I mean, let's be real, right? Sometimes exercise just feels like a chore. It takes up time, it takes energy, and honestly, some days you just don't have that extra discipline in the tank. If you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. It's a totally normal feeling to have.
So what's the solution here? What if there was a way to kind of work with our brains instead of against them? Well, there is, and it's a brilliant little technique called habit stacking. Okay, so here's the big idea, and it's actually really simple. You take a new, small action you want to start doing, and you literally piggyback it onto a habit you already do every single day without even thinking about it. That habit you already have becomes the perfect natural reminder to do the new thing. And the formula for this? It couldn't be simpler. It's just, after I do my current habit, I will do my new habit. So something like, after I pour my morning coffee, I will do 5 squats. It's just a super clear, easy recipe for your brain to follow. So why does this work so well? Well, it's all about your brain. Think of your existing habits as these big, wide, paved highways in your brain. Trying to start a new habit from scratch is like trying to chop a new path through a dense forest. It takes a ton of energy. But with habit stacking, you're not doing that. You're just adding a little exit ramp to a highway you're already on. It's so much easier. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like day to day? I want to share just a few simple ideas to get you started. Ways to sprinkle a little movement into the routine you already have. Take a look at these. While you're brushing your teeth, something you do every single day, right? You could just balance on one leg for a bit. Or hey, while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, why not do a couple of easy push-ups against the wall or the counter? See what I mean? These aren't huge, sweaty workouts. They're tiny little movements that slot right into the gaps you already have in your day. All right, I know what you might be thinking. Do these tiny little steps really make a difference? And the answer is a huge yes. It all comes down to the magic of consistency. Let's break down why this is so powerful. For starters, it completely removes the mental gymnastics. You know, that whole debate you have with yourself about whether you have the energy or motivation, gone. Your existing habit is the reminder. You don't have to rely on willpower, which, let's face it, can be pretty unreliable. And here's something really powerful. Every single time you do that tiny action, it's like you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. You're quietly proving to yourself, hey, I am someone who shows up. It's not about one big workout, it's about the 100 small times you just did the thing. That's how you build real belief in yourself. Yeah, and each of those little wins, they give your brain a tiny hit of satisfaction. It feels good. That feeling of success creates momentum and makes you want to do it again. And every time you do, that little pathway in your brain gets stronger and stronger, making the habit even more automatic. So, okay, I hope you're feeling a little inspired by this. If you are, I want to invite you to just think about starting. And the real secret here, the most important piece of advice I can share, is to start so small it feels almost silly, like ridiculously easy. This quote right here is everything. It's so important to remember that the goal is just to make a little progress. It is absolutely not about being perfect. So what if you miss a day? Who cares? The habit is so tiny, it's super easy to just jump right back in the next day. Some is always, always better than nothing. And please, don't ever think these little movements don't matter. They really, really do. Every time you do a simple calf raise, you're making a deposit in your mobility bank for the future. Every time you balance for a few seconds, you're investing in your stability. These are powerful investments in your long-term strength and independence. So I'll just leave you with this one little thought to ponder. No pressure at all, no right answers. Just a question for you. What's one tiny, absurdly small... You know that feeling, right? The day's over, the house is quiet, but your mind is just still going. You're exhausted, but you're not exactly calm. So how do you cross that gap between a crazy, busy day and a night of sleep that actually leaves you feeling rested?
Well, let's get into it and explore a really simple 10-minute fix. Just picture it for a second. It's the end of a long day. The room is finally settling down, bathed in this soft, warm light. And right there, the temptation is calling to you to just pick up your phone and start scrolling, letting that blue light and an endless feed keep your brain wired. But tonight's different. A new choice gets made, and it kicks off this quiet but really powerful shift.
So let's think of this as building a kind of 10-minute bridge. This isn't about adding another complicated thing to your to-do list. Nope, it's about carving out a tiny, quiet space to help your body and your mind shift gears from doing all day to just being. And honestly, this first step, it's the most important one. It's that conscious choice to disconnect from all the digital noise so you can reconnect with yourself. This isn't about some massive test of willpower. It's just about giving your nervous system the signal it's been waiting for all day long. Hey, the day is ending, it's safe to power down now.
Now, what's so great about this whole ritual is how simple it is. First up, the breath. Inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for 6. That longer exhale is a direct message to your nervous system to calm down. It literally activates your body's relaxation response. Second, your mind. You're not trying to fight your thoughts. That never works. You just gently guide your focus back to your breath. Then, a quick body scan, just releasing tension you probably didn't even realize you were holding. And finally, you just notice. You notice how different you feel.
And look, the results aren't some kind of magic trick, but they are very real, and you feel them almost immediately. In just those 10 minutes, a real change happens. Your heart rate starts to settle, your mind feels less cluttered. That physical weight of the day's stress, it starts to lift. This isn't sleep itself, but it's like the perfect runway for it. It lets sleep arrive naturally, without any struggle. You know, this small personal ritual is actually part of a much bigger shift happening in our culture. People are starting to realize that being on all the time just isn't sustainable. We're seeing this kind of collective move away from that constant hustle and towards something a lot more intentional. And that brings us to the rise of what some experts are calling calm rituals. It's a direct pushback to years and years of hustle culture. Instead of just trying to power through our exhaustion, the new focus is on creating routines that actually help our bodies and minds settle down and recover. And this comparison just lays it out so clearly. We're shifting away from a world that runs on stimulants and an energy-first mentality. The new way of thinking is all about settling the nervous system using things that support our body's natural balance, like magnesium and adaptogens. Those are just natural things that help your body deal with stress. So, here's the crucial part. This isn't just about feeling good for a few minutes. The science behind this is incredibly clear. Calming activities, which can release hormones like oxytocin, have huge long-term health benefits. Oxytocin actually helps fight inflammation and stress, which are two of the biggest drivers of aging. So this isn't just a wellness trend, it's a longevity strategy. Let's just look at the hard data for a second. Study after study shows that practices like mindfulness and breathwork, the very heart of our 10-minute ritual, have some seriously powerful effects. They lower cortisol, which is your main stress hormone. They actually measurably improve the quality of your sleep, reduce inflammation throughout your body, and even support your brain health in the long run. Now, hearing all those benefits, it can feel a little intimidating, right? Like, oh great, another thing I have to be perfect at. But the whole beauty of this new approach is that it's built on something so much more achievable. It's all about the power of small, consistent steps. They call it health in small steps, and the philosophy is just so simple. True, sustainable well-being isn't about some massive one-time effort. It's the combined effect of all the small, intentional things you do for yourself, day in and day out. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to be consistent. That 10-minute ritual, when you do it every night, built a foundation for your health that those big, grand gestures you only do once in a while, they just can't compete with that. It's about building a practice, not just checking off a box. So what's the real payoff for this little nightly investment of time? Well, the magic doesn't just happen before you fall asleep. It really shows up the next morning when you wake up. And this right here is the absolute game changer. It's the difference between just getting through the night and having deep, restorative sleep. It's that feeling of waking up and knowing your body's batteries have actually been recharged. You feel ready for the day. And this leads to a pretty cool idea.
What if the benefits of that evening ritual don't just stop when your alarm goes off? What if that calm could be the foundation for a healthier, more intentional morning, creating this powerful, positive cycle?
Well, you can totally carry that momentum forward with what you might call an anti-inflammatory morning. Starting your day with tea gives you polyphenols. Those are powerful antioxidants that fight stress. Making protein a priority is so important for keeping your muscle as you get older. And eating more plants gives you fiber for your gut health, which has a direct link to lowering inflammation. And this is what's so cool. The science on this has gotten super specific. Experts now recommend aiming for about 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast. That's not just some vague idea. It's a real, actionable target that helps prevent muscle loss and, bonus, it keeps you feeling full longer.
Okay, so the whole point now is to bring all of these ideas together, to take these concepts and turn them into your own personal, sustainable practice.
And if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Taking care of yourself doesn't always mean doing more. Sometimes it just means subtracting the noise and adding one small moment of intention. It's all about the power of consistency over intensity.
So I'll just leave you with this question. This isn't about finding an extra hour in your day that you don't have. It's about finding just 10 minutes. 10 minutes to build that bridge for yourself.